So in the past, I've already showed off the Northeast Regional Coach and Business Class, as well as the Acela Business and First Class. But then the question becomes, what left is there to show? Well, the truth is, I actually only showed half of what Amtrak offers between New York and DC. And now it's time for us to start the other half of what Amtrak offers. These are trains that are not as easy to catch as your typical regional or Acela train, but still provide a crucial service between the two cities. But unlike the regional and Acela trains, these trains offer special perks that you don't get on those trains. So having a little bit of advanced knowledge can be the difference of getting a train that looks like this and a train that looks like that. But the best part about the trip that I'm taking today is the fact that I only paid $19 for this ticket because it was considered a night owl train. But before we get on the train, let's talk about Penn Station first. Penn Station is now massive thanks to the expansion at Moynihan Train Hall. But it also seems like most passengers aren't aware of the waiting room situation when they're visiting the station. Moynihan actually has a big waiting room tucked behind the main train hall. It's pretty modern and it's really nice. It can be used by both Long Island Railroad and Amtrak passengers. But that's not the only waiting room available for passengers to use. Passengers still have access to the old waiting room in Penn Station. If you're holding a New Jersey Transit or an Amtrak ticket, you're able to access this waiting room. And it was actually refurbished recently, so amenity-wise, they're almost identical. Because this is a coach ticket, we don't get access to the Moynihan Train Lounge, but we can make a poor man's business lounge by going to the food hall located at the back of Moynihan Train Hall. Today's trip will be a pretty standard journey between New York Penn Station and Washington DC's Union Station, but this time instead of being on your typical Northeast Regional or Acela train, we're going to be on the Palmetto. The trip is expected to take 3.5 hours and cost me a total of $19. However, it has now since jumped to $20. But $19 makes a better thumbnail, so we're going to stick with that for the title. But since we're talking about fares, Amtrak has gone through quite a bit of fare changes that are kind of important to note. Most base cost tickets have gone up $1 to $2, except for the non-Acela business class tickets, which actually have gone down from $149 down to $83. I suspect the reduction in price is to make it more competitive to the Acela tickets because the Acela starts at $72 right now. But where things get really confusing here is the fact that the Northeast Regional train before the Palmetto train that I'm on today is $83, which is the same as the base business class ticket on the Northeast Regional before that train. And to make things more complicated, there's an Acela train right after that train that's only $72, which is a better deal than both of those trains. But then the train that I'm on, the Palmetto, the $20 ticket right below it, is actually the best option out of all of them in my opinion. So it's very crucial when you're booking your ticket to pay attention to what train you're booking and what class of service you're booking in, because sometimes it's cheaper to get a business class ticket than a coach ticket, and sometimes your coach ticket can offer you a business class seat. Yeah, this is very complicated. Once I'm done with this series, I plan on making a proper in-depth overview video, going in detail about the different classes of service, their value, and tips on how to book the best possible ticket. But right now, it's time for me to board the train. When boarding the train, it's important to know long distance trains like this one do not follow the same rules that Northeast Regional trains do. On the Northeast Regional, you can normally sit wherever you want, but that's not the case here. Passengers boarding long distance trains are usually grouped by their destination. That way, passengers going to the same destination usually sit in the same car. When walking on the train, at first glance, it's pretty obvious that this is not what a normal coach seat looks like. For comparison, here's a look at a normal coach train on the Northeast Corridor. It more closely resembles the business class car, but they're not quite the same. But there are still some subtle differences that are very important and change your experience. The first thing you notice on a typical business class car is the fact that the seats are reserved. But something else you might notice, and it's more subtle, is the size of the window. The long distance coach train, on the other hand, is a first come first serve model. So the chance of getting a good seat is directly tied to how quick you can get on the train. But the windows here are much larger. The next immediate difference that you notice when sitting down is the legroom. While both seats are about 19 inches wide, it differs in the amount of pitch that you have. Business class definitely has a lot of legroom with about 40 inches of pitch. Long distance coach, on the other hand, has approximately 45 inches of pitch. Notice how my feet don't even go to the seat in front of me. So yeah, this $19 ticket that I bought has more legroom than a normal business class ticket does. But it doesn't even stop there. Long distance coach seats are equipped with leg rests that you won't find on any other coach seat, business class seat, or first class seat on a regular Northeast Regional or Acela train. Another neat little detail is that these seats also come with integrated headrests. And now that we've gotten a chance to check out the seat, it's time for us to head to DC. So after stopping at Philadelphia, I thought it was time for me to get some food. I also made a mistake where I took a picture instead of a video of the dining car, but I'm pretty sure this is the same dining car experience that you'll get on any Northeast regional train. Interestingly enough, a lot of the snacks that you see available for purchase on the train are available for free in the Metropolitan Lounge in DC, Philadelphia, and Boston. New York, however, has a separate lounge concept with its own snacks. But after getting some snacks and heading back to my seat, it was time for me to also take a look at the restrooms. Taking a look at the restroom on board this train, we can see that it's very similar to the restrooms on any other Northeast regional train. Pretty much the same layout, same design, same amenities. It doesn't really change between business or coach class. But as usual for Amtrak, everything is clean and well stocked. Well, until I opened the toilet, it seems like someone forgot to flush. I'll spare you the details. And that completes another on-time journey on the Northeast Corridor. Overall, I have to say this seat was amazing, and honestly, in my opinion, I think it's actually better than a normal business class seat, both on the Acela and the Northeast Regional. So then I have to ask, why is this seat so much better? And well, that's because the Northeast Regional and the long distance trains on Amtrak don't use the same rail cars. While at first glance they look very similar, the Northeast Regional trains use Amfleet 1 cars, while the long distance trains use Amfleet 2 cars. These cars were both designed with different purposes in mind, so they had different design specifications and different seats. Since some long distance trips can be 8 hours or even longer, some going as far as over 24 hours, it's important that these passengers have comfortable seats for such long journeys. So when the Amfleet 2 was designed for long distance service, it was designed with different features and amenities in mind. But if you could take advantage of this discount to get better amenities, why not? In my opinion, I would gladly give up business class amenities like seat reservations and free drinks for this seat. Well, there are a couple of reasons why you might not even want to or even get the opportunity to ride this train. For starters, long distance trains are for passengers that are going long distance. A passenger on this trip going between New York and DC could be taking away a seat from someone that needs to be going to North Carolina or Georgia. So to ensure the seats are available for people who need it, Amtrak might actually put the coach ticket price at a higher fare bucket to dissuade people from booking the long distance train. Additionally, Amtrak runs Northeast Regional trains almost every hour. The same can't be said for long distance trains. There are only a couple of these trains a day, and there's a good chance it might not line up with your schedule. And lastly, for regional trips like the one we're making today, a 3-hour journey doesn't really need that many additional amenities, so what you get on an Amfleet 1 is usually good enough. And looking at the booking example, it really boils down to how much you're willing to pay and how lucky you are. And if you're lucky like me, you can get this amazing experience for only $20. I hope this video encourages you to pay attention on what train you book the next time you ride on Amtrak, because sometimes you can pay less for more. Thanks for watching. Also, just a heads up, I no longer plan on making weekly uploads just because it is a lot of stress. I started this channel as a hobby, and for now I plan on keeping it that way. I know a lot of people have been discovering my channel this week, and I really do appreciate it and the positive thoughts that you guys have sent my way. But if you do want to see new videos when I post them in the future, please consider subscribing.